Hello and a very warm welcome back to our complete IELTS reading series. I am so happy to see you again. In this 9th video, we are going to put on our detective hats and learn how to solve one of the trickiest puzzles in the IELTS test. We're talking about the question type called matching information to paragraphs. Now, many students get very confused by this question. When they see it, they think it's the same as matching headings, which we learned about in our last video. But it is completely different, and it requires a completely different skill. If you have ever felt lost with this question type, or if you have ever wasted a lot of time reading the same paragraph over and over again, then this video is for you. By the end of this lesson, you'll have a clear, simple, step-by-step strategy to find those specific, hidden details quickly and accurately. You will know exactly what to do. So let's get our detective tools ready and let's get started.
Okay, first things first. We absolutely must clear up the biggest point of confusion. How is this task, matching information, different from matching headings? If you don't understand this difference, you will use the wrong strategy and you will struggle. Let's think about our tree analogy again. Remember that matching headings asks for the main idea of the entire paragraph. It asks you to find the trunk of the tree. When you choose a heading, you are saying, this is what the whole paragraph is about. It's like giving a chapter in a book a title. You are looking at the big picture. Now, matching information is completely different. It does not ask for the main idea. It asks you to find a specific, small detail that is hidden somewhere inside a paragraph. You are not looking for the trunk of the tree anymore. Now, you are a detective looking for one single, specific leaf on one of the branches. What kind of leaf or detail are you looking for? You will be given a list of statements, and each statement will describe a specific piece of information. For example, it might be a reason why something happened, an example of a particular concept, a description of how something looks or works, a comparison between two things, a name of a person or a place, a specific number or date. This specific detail might only be mentioned in one single sentence or maybe two sentences together. Your job is to find exactly where that specific piece of information is located. So, let me say it one more time. Matching headings equals main idea, the big picture. Matching information equals a specific detail, a small hidden fact. This difference is absolutely crucial for your success.
So, how do we approach this task like a real detective? We need a clear, reliable method. I'm going to give you a simple 3-step strategy that you can follow every single time. I call it the detective method. Step 1, you analyze your clues. The clues are the statements you need to find. Step 2, you search the area. The area is the entire reading passage. Step 3, you confirm the evidence. You make sure you have found the exact right piece of information. Let's break down each of these steps. Step 1 is to carefully analyze the statements you need to match. Remember our strategy from matching headings? We read the headings first. Here, it's the same idea. You should read the list of statements before you read the main text. These statements are your list of clues. For each statement, I want you to do 2 things. First, identify and underline the key words. Keywords are the most important and unique words that will be easiest to find when you are scanning. They are usually nouns like construction, verbs, adjectives like initial, or names. In our example here, a description of the initial construction challenges, the best keywords are initial, construction, and challenges. But don't stop there. This next tip is very important. After you find the keywords, I want you to understand the type of information the statement is asking for. Look at the beginning of the statement.
Does it start with a reason for, or an example of, or a comparison between? In our example, it starts with a description of. Knowing the type of information you are looking for is so helpful. It gives your brain a very clear purpose. You're not just looking for the word construction, you're looking for a description of the challenges of construction. This makes your search much more focused. Step 2 is all about scanning. This is where you use your scanning superpower. Take the keywords from your first statement only. Don't try to remember the keywords for all the statements at once. That's too confusing. Just focus on one statement at a time. Now, scan the entire passage from beginning to end. Remember, scanning is not reading. You are not trying to understand the text yet. You are a hunter. Your eyes are quickly moving over the words, hunting for your key words. And you must be prepared for synonyms. This is a very common way that IELTS tests your vocabulary. If your keyword is challenges, the passage probably won't use the word challenges. It might say difficulties, problems, or obstacles. You need to be flexible and look for words with similar meanings. And now for the most important rule for this task. I need you to listen very carefully. The information is not in order. This is the biggest difference from question types like true, false, not given, or sentence completion. For this task, the answer to question 1 could be in paragraph D, the last paragraph, and the answer to question 4 could be in paragraph A, the first paragraph. This means you must be prepared to scan the entire passage for each and every statement. Don't assume the answers will follow a neat order, because they won't. Step 3 is the final and most important part of the process. It's where you confirm your evidence. When you are scanning and you find a potential keyword or a good synonym, I want you to stop scanning. You have found a promising area. Now you must switch from scanning to careful reading. Read the full sentence that contains your keyword. Then read the sentence just before it and the sentence just after it. This is called reading for context. After you have read these 2 or 3 sentences carefully, ask yourself this critical question. Does this piece of text fully and perfectly match the meaning of the statement I'm trying to find? If the answer is yes, this is the exact piece of information I was looking for, then congratulations, you have found your match. Write down the letter of the paragraph, A, B, C, etc., next to your statement, and you can move on to the next statement. But what if the answer is no? Sometimes the text will use your keyword, but it will be talking about something different. This is a trap. If the meaning doesn't match perfectly, you must ignore it and continue scanning the rest of the passage. Don't force a match that isn't there. Before we jump into our practice example, here are 3 crucial tips or rules of the game that you absolutely must remember for this question type. First, a paragraph can be used more than once. This is very different from matching headings. It is possible that the answer to statement 1 is in paragraph B, and the answer to statement 3 is also in paragraph B. So just because you have used a paragraph letter once, do not cross it out or ignore it. It might contain more treasure. Second, and just as important, some paragraphs might contain no answers at all. It's possible that you will read the whole passage and you will not use paragraph C, for example. This is normal. Some paragraphs are just there to provide extra information or context. Don't panic and don't waste time trying to force a match for a paragraph if the information simply isn't there. Third, and this is a great way to confirm the rules, always read the instructions carefully. At the start of the task, the instructions will almost always include a special note. It will say something like, NB, you may use any letter more than once. NB just means please note. This instruction is a big friendly clue from the IELTS test makers telling you that tip number 1 is true. It confirms that you should be prepared to use the same letter multiple times.
All right, theory is great, but practice is where we really learn. Let's put our 3-step strategy into action. Here are 4 statements we need to find in a short passage about the history of coffee. The first thing we do is step 1, analyze the statements. Let's do it together. Statement 1. A reference to the way the brain is affected by coffee consumption. My keywords here are brain and affected. The type of information I'm looking for is a reference to or a description of an effect. Statement 2. An example of how coffee's role in society has evolved in recent times. My keywords are role in society, evolved, which means changed over time, and recent times, which means modern times. The information type is an example. Statement 3. A mention of the initial resistance to coffee in Europe. Keywords: initial resistance, which means people didn't like it at first, and Europe. The information type is a mention of this event. Statement 4. A description of the physical appearance of the coffee plant. Keywords: physical appearance, how it looks, and coffee plant. The information type is a description. Okay, our clue list is ready. Now we can start scanning the text, focusing on finding the information for Statement 1 first.
Okay, let's start with Statement 1. Looking for information about the brain. I'm scanning paragraph A. I see words like plant, leaves, flowers, berries. This paragraph is describing what the plant looks like. There is no mention of the brain here. I move to paragraph B. I'm still scanning for brain. I see Ethiopia, European continent, suspicion, condemned, Satan. This paragraph seems to be about early history and problems. I don't see anything about the brain, so I need to keep going.
I continue scanning to paragraph C. I'm still looking for brain. I see energizing effect, caffeine, bloodstream, and bingo, there it is, the word brain. Now I stop scanning and do step 3, read around and confirm. The sentence says caffeine travels to the brain. The next sentence says it works by blocking an inhibitory neurotransmitter called adenosine. Is this a reference to the way the brain is affected? Absolutely. It is a very scientific and specific description. The information matches perfectly. So, the answer to Statement 1 is paragraph C. Great, 1 clue solved. Now we move to Statement 2, looking for an example of how coffee's role in society has changed in recent times. I start scanning again from the beginning. Paragraph A is about the plant. Paragraph B is about early history in Europe. Paragraph C is about brain chemistry. Let's look at paragraph D. My keywords were society and recent times. I see 21st century, that means recent times. I see social interaction. This looks very promising. I'll read this paragraph carefully. It talks about specialty coffee shops, third wave coffee culture, and gives examples of new brewing methods like pour-over and cold brew. Is this an example of how coffee's role in society has evolved? Yes, it's a perfect example. So the answer to Statement 2 is paragraph D. Next, Statement 3, a mention of the initial resistance in Europe. As I'm thinking about my key words, I remember seeing something about this when I was looking for the first answer. My brain remembers seeing the word Europe. Let's go back and check paragraph B. I scan paragraph B again. Yes, I see European continent, and I see the word suspicion. I see that people condemned it as the bitter invention of Satan. Is this a clear mention of resistance? Yes, it is. It's a perfect match. The answer to Statement 3 is paragraph B. Finally, Statement 4, a description of the physical appearance of the coffee plant. Again, I remember reading about this right at the beginning. My keywords are description, appearance, plant. Let's look at paragraph A again. It says the plant is a woody shrub. It says the leaves are dark green and glossy. It says it has white flowers and oval-shaped berries. Is this a description of its physical appearance? Yes, it is a direct, detailed description. The answer to statement 4 is paragraph A.
So here is our final detective's report. We have found all the information. The answer to 1 was in C, 2 was in D, 3 was in B, and 4 was in A. Notice how the answers were completely jumbled up. They were not in the same order as the statements. This is exactly what we predicted, and it proves why our strategy of analysing one statement at a time and then scanning the whole passage is so important.
To sum up, when you see a matching information task, I want you to switch into detective mode and remember these key points for your toolkit. First, remember that you are a detective looking for specific hidden clues. You are not a student writing a summary of the main idea. Second, always use the 3-step strategy. Analyze your clues, scan the area, and confirm your evidence. Always start with the statements before you read the passage. Third, never forget that the answers are not in order. You have to be patient and scan the whole passage for each clue. And fourth, be flexible. Don't be surprised if you use paragraph B twice or if you don't use paragraph D at all. This is a normal part of the game. If you practice this technique, you will find that this question type, which seemed so confusing at first, becomes a logical and manageable puzzle.
Thank you so much for joining me today and for your amazing focus. In our next video, our 10th video in the series, we will do a full review of all the question types and strategies we've learned so far to get you ready for test day. If you found this video helpful and you feel more confident, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our final lessons. Good luck with your studies, and I'll see you next time.